Do you think pets should be allowed to visit patients in a hospital? I'll bet all the pet people are nodding yes. In this episode, I'd like to explore the idea of pets in hospitals for patients and staff and in long-term care facilities. So, let's get at it. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Val Talks Pets, the forum for pet parents and enthusiasts alike. Having been in the pet industry for over 10 years now, I'm going to share with you issues and questions that arise as I work with pet parents on a day-to-day basis. I am not a veterinarian, but I do have certifications in canine, feline, small animal, fish and herptile, and avian health and nutrition from the University of California, Davis Extension. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me on this episode of Val Talks Pets. Let's start with hospitals. Animals visiting or being at a hospital can be separated into three categories. There is the question about allowing a pet to visit someone in the hospital, the pet belonging to the patient. Then there are therapy dogs that are allowed to visit. And then there are dogs that provide support for staff in high-stress positions. Because a patient's pet visiting has its pros and cons, I'd like to start with support dogs for personnel. As I am more familiar with National Service Dogs, I'll highlight their program in this category. NSD facilitates a program called Canine Assisted Intervention. Now, quoting from their official website, NSD's Canine Assisted Intervention Program is uniquely positioned to provide mental health support services to people of all ages. CAI dogs can reduce stress levels among staff, clients, and others while promoting healing, improving overall well-being, and inspiring hope for a bright future. There are education facility dogs, justice facility dogs, and operational stress intervention dogs within the CAI dogs. Although the CAI dogs are multifaceted, the OSID dogs are the ones that can and are placed in hospitals and other facilities to aid with staff stress. Imagine a nurse having an even more stressful day than usual, or a surgeon who has just lost a patient. Going to their staff area to decompress and have a trained dog there to provide comfort could mean all the difference for the mental health of that health worker. If someone isn't a dog person, that's fine. These dogs know how to judge a situation. But just imagine some of the stress melting away as a non-judgmental dog sits with you and rests its head in your lap. Dog people often get this at home, but at work? Isn't it amazing that during this time, when everything is about technology and artificial intelligence, etc., the best thing still is that warm contact with an animal that just knows how to make you feel a bit better. Harvard Business Review has been looking into this topic of pets in the workplace. The topic of pets in the workplace is one unto itself, as today we are talking about hospitals and care facilities, but the research does include hospitals in a staff projection. The paper entitled Research: The Benefits of a Pet-Friendly Workplace states, welcoming pets has tangible benefits. Studies in diverse settings, traditional offices and universities, prisons, hospitals, and courthouses demonstrate that the presence of animals increases employee commitment and career satisfaction and reduces turnover intentions. There is a lot of progress when many things changed. The idea of a health provider thinking of the well-being of its staff through canine intervention particularly shows a progression towards acknowledgement of the healing benefits of animals. I know myself, there have been days when I need to pick up our work cat and just hold her and breathe in her energy. It helps. Let's now look at therapy dogs brought to hospitals and facilities to interact with clients and patients. Therapy dogs go through a training program and become certified by the body providing the training. Usually, the dog is in the program with their owner, who believes their dog has what it takes to be a therapy dog, and the human wants to volunteer to help in this regard. St. John's Ambulance, for example, provides a course to certify a dog into being a therapy dog. Not every dog is suited, but generally, if the dog is friendly and very well trained, meaning it knows its manners well and can show gentleness and empathy to someone in a situation, the dog could be quite suited to this vocation. Some therapy dogs are regular visitors to a particular hospital or facility, and the patients and staff get to know them and anticipate their visit. The Ottawa Hospital gave a lovely explanation of the scientific benefits of therapy dogs. Dr. Christine Bosver, I apologize, I'm not French speaking, so I hope I said her name correctly, says a clinical and rehabilitation at the Ottawa Hospital explains what a therapy dog can provide within a hospital setting. What a therapy dog does is calms the nervous system, heart rate and breathing rate slow down. Patients and staff report feeling generally calmer and more relaxed. Promotes physical and emotional health. Petting an animal can help a person with an arm injury learning to use their arm again. Grooming an animal can help a person living with depression feel a sense of purpose. It releases feel-good hormones in the animals and the human. Higher levels of dopamine and oxytocin increase feelings of safety and connection. These hormones are released within just 10 to 15 minutes of the interaction. It helps humanize the hospital environment. Hospitals can sometimes feel like big, impersonal spaces. Therapy dogs help patients see that, at its core, a hospital is a place where people help people. Improves the patient-provider relationship. Patients and staff interacting with therapy animals report feeling more comfortable sharing information. Decreases loneliness. Long hospital stays can cause loneliness in some patients. A visit from a therapy dog pair provides joyful anticipation, a change in routine, and a genuine companionship between the therapist and the patient. Therapy animals can make a difference for those in a hospital or long-term facility. There is a photo that circulates online where a lineup of therapy dogs standing in front of doors at a hospital, waiting to begin their day visiting, all wearing these little backpacks. Any kind of dog really can become a therapy dog as long as it has the demeanor. Larger breeds tend to be used, but there is a place for smaller dogs that can be petted on the lap or just fit better in smaller spaces. Where does this lead us now? I've looked at the trained canine assisted intervention program with National Service dogs that can support staff in hospitals, and therapy dogs that visit hospitals and facilities to provide comfort. So that brings us to, what about having your pet come into a hospital or facility visit? The other two types of dogs I have discussed are trained to be in the facility. A person's pet may not have the same manners and wherewithal to handle coming into a hospital. Let's look at personal pets coming into hospitals or hospital-like environments. Apparently, more and more hospitals are getting with the program, shall we say, of letting a person's pet come to visit if someone is in a longer stay in hospital. According to vetstreet.com, University of Maryland Medical Center started the Faithful Friends Personal Pet Visitation Program in 2008. Wolfson Children's Hospital in Jacksonville, Florida, has Healing Paws as a program. Rules apparently will vary from hospital to hospital. As vetstreet.com explains, some have a designated area of the hospital where the visit takes place. Others allow families to bring the pet right to the patient's room. Some hospitals allow dogs and cats, some just dogs. Some visits may be 1 hour, some the entire day. Faithful Friends, for example, has measures in place to ensure patient and staff safety at all times. In addition to bathing and grooming before the visit, each animal is up to date on immunizations, flea and tick-free, and relatively good-natured. In Ontario, Canada, Juravinski Hospital in Hamilton allows pets to visit. Their program is called Zachary Paws for Healing. At Juravinski, they came to these conclusions. Pets pose the same threats when they visit patients as visiting family members must be on a leash to control movements. Pets can only visit their humans. Therefore, there can't be physical contact between dogs or cats and any patients other than their owners. Both a patient's family member and a social worker have to accompany any pet entering the hospital to control the situation and the pet's movements. Since there are often machines, IVs, ventilators, etc. around the patient's bed, these pose risks that must be under control. Pets also have to be at least 6 months old. For a pet visit at Juravinski, for example, a person would contact Zachary's Paws for Healing to request a visit. They take care of everything from there. As for long-term facilities, the guidelines are particular to the facility. I Googled which hospitals in Ontario allow pet visits, and it gave a list. Some on the list were veterinarian offices, so you need to weed. The pros of a person's pet coming to visit are also receive so much for finally seeing their human, avoiding despondency and health issues arising from feeling abandoned and forlorn. Cons, of course, include how others in the hospital may feel. If the patient is in a room with others, they may be allergic to cats or dogs or are afraid of animals. This is why it is really important to consult each hospital's guidelines to ensure the visit doesn't create stress for others. So, what do you think? Should our pets be allowed to visit us in the hospital if we are in for a longer period of time? My vote, of course, is absolutely, but I would be very diligent in sticking to the rules. I completely understand why Juravinski has a social worker involved when a pet is coming to visit. But oh my, if I were in hospital for an extended time, meaning more than a few days, I would be so grateful if Tundra and Rory could come for a visit. It would be everything to me, and that is what almost all pet parents are thinking. The bottom line here is that there is no reason to believe a dog or cat will create any more risk than visitors coming from the bus, from work, to visit. Pet visits can be arranged. It just means some protocols and guidelines have to be put in place. So, should pets be allowed into hospitals? I wholeheartedly believe so, for the well-being of the patient and the pet. If you find yourself in this situation, just contact the hospital and find out if they have a pet visitation program and the rules. Just imagine being able to take your friend or loved one, their treasured dog or cat. What a time that would be. Research is all that is needed because, as I say, knowing is caring. Thank you for listening to Val Talks Pets. Please remember to follow or subscribe to ensure that you never miss an episode. To really help the show and to make it easier for others to find, please rate and review each episode that you find interesting and helpful. And don't forget that you can also email me at val@valtalkspets.com with topics you would like me to address or with any questions you may have. Also, check out my website at valtalkspets.com and let me know what you think and how we can improve upon it. Thanks for caring.